Are you willing to drown for this? To be in over your head? Are you willing to sacrifice for this? To suffocate and be aware of it? To go without praise for this? To feel helpless for this? Are you willing to miss dates for this? To make mistakes for this? To fail at being perfectionist for this? To no longer be safe? To no longer be safe for this? What's going on, y'all? I am going to read you what I have so far. And then we'll just get to work. I'm hungry right now, honestly. I didn't eat yet, but I did my writing prompt practice. I have this poetry book. It had a cover at one point, and then it's a lot of pages in there unwritten, but I've been starting to write a little bit, I've been starting to write a little bit, and I'm just using this as like my writing practice. I asked a couple of poets. I went to the show in July. I'm tripping. In August, it's like a Legends of spoken word type of event that this curator, J Rose, put together, and it was great. And it was these poets that were full-time poetry that were doing this for a living, and I got to pick their brains. I wanted to pick their brains. I picked a few of them, the ones that I really resonated with, that I was like, no, they're at a different level. And I asked them, like, what habits or skills do you need to write, do you need to have to make it in this, or do this full time? And the first poet I went to, her name was Mo Brown, and she said, you have to write every day. And that seems so simple, but like, it's hard, because there's so much other things that happen. There's this, there's that. It's like, whatever, I don't have nothing. It's like, even if it's not super poetic or anything like that, just write every day. Use these prompts, like find prompts and just write. And so this year I want to put that into practice. I want to make that a habit where it's like, I write every day. And because I've written before, I've written nothing super consistent, but like consistent in a sense of like, I don't know, nothing super consistent. So it's like, I want to make it a part of my daily habits. Like, I'm writing every day. So there's that. So I did that, and that's always something I want to do every day as practice, and then get into like my own drafts and stuff that I want to complete. Just to, I guess, use it as a warm up, as practice, as whatever. And so now, here we are. So I don't know where to go. I don't know even what part to even dive into and like lock into, but let's figure it out. I remember the first time I experienced what it felt like to drown. I remember when I was on the edge but too afraid to get in. Then I was pushed in by a friend. Shout out Andrew Davison. It was my first time experiencing what it felt like to be in over my head, to feel helpless, to wonder if this is it. Is this the way I go out? Only for my subconscious to save me. I didn't even know what I was doing. That wouldn't be the last time I felt that way. Looking back on this memory, I'd say this is my first experience with fear. Okay, I do like that line, because initially, looking back on this memory, I'd say this is my first experience with fear. That was never a part of it. first it would go into like I had a section where it's like I remember in 2019 I took a class to learn how to swim. Another true story. I only try to tell true stories in my poems. Like I mean, you're never gonna catch me just making stuff up just for the sake of the poem. If I'm making stuff up, you'll know that this is not me or this is whatever my own imagination or whatever. But like if I'm giving you something about me, it's gonna be a real story. 2019, I was at Cortland, and I had to take a swimming class as part of my degree. Um, yeah, I took class to learn how to swim. I remember how my feet would be gum stuck on the edge of the pool, afraid to get in. Every class I had a pair of pliers, patient enough to pull teeth, hear me kick and scream, and be there to teach. They always told me to relax. I would tell them, how could I? They said if you tense up, you will fall, but if you let go, you'll float. I promise I tried to let go. I saw everyone else graduate from the shallow to the deep end and learn how to swim, and there I was again, no longer 10, but 23 and still feel like I'm in the kiddie pool. These stories come to mind because now I am 27 and I still didn't know, and I didn't know I was still in the shallow until I was asked, are you willing to go where your feet no longer touch the surface? Retention can be the death of you. Are you willing to be fully submerged, to lose control? Are you willing to drown for this? I didn't ask if you're willing to die for it, because this is a different type of death, one that requires you give up control, let go of your expectations of what you think is good, let go of their expectations of what they think is good. Trust trust where God is taking you, to the deep, where your only anchor is Him. Are you willing to drown for this? To be in over your head? Are you willing to sacrifice for this? To suffocate and be aware of it? To go without praise for this? To feel helpless for this? Are you willing to miss dates for this? To make mistakes for this? To fail at being perfectionist for this? To no longer be safe for this? So there's the first part where it's like the dream, that experience that I had. At this point, I had no sense of direction or reality. It's like I was awake and asleep at the same time. I've never experienced something so surreal. Into the story, and eventually the stories of me being 9, me being 23, the college class. I remember how my feet would be gum stuck on the edge of the pool, afraid to get in. Every class I had a pair of pliers, patient enough to pull teeth. The experience at the church picnic, because I was afraid of the pool everyone my age and up were in. I was afraid I might be forced to go to the deep end, that I'll drown on that end. Cause I'm merging into where I am right now. So it's all a setup, and I wonder if it's like too long of a setup, but whatever. There's the first part where it's like the dream, that experience that I had, into the story, and eventually the stories of me being 9, me being 23, the college class, the experience at the church picnic, merging into where I am right now. So it's all a setup, and I wonder if it's like too long of a setup, but whatever.